well, the background was ready to go, and I actually went and took apart and I went and actually installed it without thinking about videoing it and everything. Now you can see here there was that one little area here that had a little bit of a damage. So basically all I've done is I dry fit it, made sure it worked good. I think it looks absolutely awesome. And then I went and siliconed it to the back, because my goal, as you can see, there's silicone all over the place, little dots and stuff, so it makes sure it's fully adhered to the back. Did I have to do that? No, I didn't, but I did it for one specific reason. And then I also went and filled in those little vent holes that were at the top. Now these channels, normally I would have shaved these things off, but what's happened last time, you saw in one of my smaller builds, by shaving this off, the background got so much thinner that all of a sudden the light started shining through it in different areas. So this time I thought I'll just install it and then I'll plug these holes, because I don't want to have crickets being able to go behind here whatsoever. So the whole background is now adhered all over the whole back of the thing. Now in the front, what I went and did then is then I also gave me an opportunity to take the little remaining bit of silicone and kind of make up some little patches. So you'll see there's some fresh silicone, and then I covered it with the core and the substrate mix, and that fills those two holes in nicely. And the cork bark tube is just using it because it gives a little bit of pressure to push it against the back wall. So we're going to let that cure overnight, and then we're going to get started on adding the other pieces, and then we're going to go and fill in the voids and stuff like this so the crickets can't get behind there. We're going to use some foam, going to attach the different pieces and make it all one nice unit, and then we still got to figure out what we're going to do in regards to a water dish and feed dish for them. But otherwise, it's come together nicely. All right, to get this piece ready for the Tokay new home build, as you guys remember, it's going to kind of lean up in that back corner a little bit. There's a couple of things that we had to make some adjustments. One, I didn't like this piece of wood that was here, so I actually smashed this out. I just smashed it with my hand. And that's going to give me this nice little pocket for planting. Then I've gone and drilled some holes through it for drainage. So I've got a nice pocket, so I can put some sphagnum moss there. And as you guys remember, the plants in question we're going to be using primarily were going to be those pitcher plants. And then I've got another one up here, and you can see we've bored out the hole at the bottom there, so it's got good drainage. The only thing left I've got to do is to make it fit better in the environment is I've drawn a line here, is I've got to cut this little back piece off. That's just going to give me that extra little space that I need to make it fit really nicely in the environment. So now that we've cut the one main piece down a little bit, it worked out really, really well. Nice and smooth. We got those holes drilled. We want to kind of do a quick dry fit, see how everything's going to fit before we go and do the foaming. And the foaming is basically just going to secure all the pieces together. So we've got the horizontal hide, which we'll be able to fill with mosses and lichens and possibly some of those smaller nepenthes. It creates a nice hide for them. They can still access getting out the outside, and it's a good egg shelter as well for when they're mature. And I have a pair, the female wants to deposit eggs. The nice vertical structures to and from these give all sorts of structure for the plants to hide, and it gives just different visual effects within the terrarium. This will be a nice ponting spot. As you mentioned, I showed you where I drilled it through, so there's going to be good drainage. Same with here, same with up here, and it can drain down. Now we have to look at a way that we do have to foam this piece in place, and we do want to foam this piece in place at the base, tying it all into the base, and we do want to attach the foam here, so this is all somehow, it looks like it's all joined together. And then when I look around the sides, I'm looking at, I might want to foam from here down on the right side of this board because it's very, very tight, and that'll kind of close it off and make it nice and clean. But then it's access to the animals is basically off one side, so they'll always have to come around here to access this. And this will probably become the primary area where the animals will hide during the day. I've created all these different areas, to get away from the light here, underneath here, and then that entire piece of that there. And then we do have these couple of pieces of, I don't even know what these are called, these twisty branches. And they look really, really cool. And I kind of visualize them being somewhat here, and the other one being somewhat here. And that will just give a nice, again, some more visual interest to the aquarium, or to the terrarium. And then with all the different nepenthes and different types of mosses and plants and stuff. And then we'll probably put a nice big fern or something. nice and quick and dirty. Just a little bit there, and it went underneath the base. It'll cement the base. We went up 3/4 of that side. We stopped there, and that way the whole opening behind this tube is open to the back so they can access as an escape route. We went all the way up the side here, but we left the top wide open, and there's going to be the screen lid going across here anyway. So whether that's there as an escape route or not, it's still available for them. If we go around the side, you'll be able to see what I mean. Kind of hard with all the reflection and all the junk bigs, but we kind of get the idea of what you were talking about. All right, then we come back inside. We did the same thing with the base of this one here. We did the underside of this. And then if we come around the other side, you can see inside the tube. And then it'll come back here, and then just the base. So you can see there's that escape hole behind the tube there. And then we come all the way up. So we're going to let this all cure overnight, and then you guys know the drill. That's looking foam-tastic. All this stuff hardens up. It looks messy right now, but honestly, if you've never done this, this is super fun and easy to do. All these little pieces, you think, oh, what a mess. That's gone. Well, here's the finished product just before we go and do the cocoa fiber. We've removed it all right down to the raw foam so it can take the silicone really, really well. We've textured it a little bit so it looks like it blends right in. We've got the opening down back there so they can go up behind so they can get into the log. Textured it here, and then we textured around the bases. So all in all, it's ready to go. We're going to get some silicone and then some core. Now this Vivarium's almost ready to go. There was honestly everything else for the Vivarium side is ready to go, ready for planting. Now there was a couple of things, a little kind of quirks of things that I wanted to work out before I was ready to go. One, I have to install a drain in here for any sort of buildup of moisture. I'm going to do the same thing I did in the Beast Vivarium, where it's going to be a standing pipe with some slits in the bottom. It's going to be silicone to the bottom, and then I can just go ahead and put my gravel siphon for my aquariums in there and draw water out. And the second thing I wanted to do is I wanted to have a raised water dish for these animals. So basically, I went and got some sort of connector over at Home Depot. They're basically some sort of pipe connector or something. I don't even know what it's for. But I want to be able to find a way that I can have a disposable water dish that nests inside nice and easy to change, and then I find a space to mount it, and not only mount it, then also conceal it in the same way we've done everything else. So this water dish is going to be mounting somewhere in here, and then we're going to foam all the way around it. And then you can be every day you can come and just take the water dish out and replace it, but it'll always still be there, accessible to the animals, a little bit more readily available. Now what I've done is I've already gone and pre-drilled it. So here's the one that we're going to be using. It's already pre-drilled, so it's going to be drilling directly into the ironwood. And then I've also gone and taken a rasp, and I've really scuffed up, or a file, or any, you could probably rub it against concrete, and it would probably scruff it up. And basically what the purpose of that is, instead of it being nice and smooth, is that'll give something for the foam to adhere to, and then everything else. So I think this is good. Let's get it installed. And here's the result. This hasn't even dried yet. I just finished putting on the cocoa fiber earth mix, substrate mix, but it's pretty well concealed. And now it looks like it's part of the terrarium. And then when we want to use it, we're just going to go and dump one of these in. Obviously it won't fit right now because it's got a lot of loose material, but we're going to let that cure overnight. I'm pretty happy with that.